All right, so if you watch YouTube, you're probably getting recommended a ton of videos like this, right? Exactly how I scaled my SMMA to 30K per month, full breakdown. Only has 800 views 7 days ago. People telling you how they made money with some dumb stones. People giving you these flow charts, showing you how they, made money with some kind of funnel. Um, how this guy scaled his Shopify store 11 times. How I scaled 3 random drop shipping products to prove it's not luck. And all these videos, when you click on them, they're really basic. It's not like crazy complicated content, right? It's just someone basically talking to the camera. And you probably wondered what the heck is going on? Why is it that all these people are crushing it? I mean, even with mainstream content, it's working really well. So, for instance, like mass market content, fitness, it's one of the most competitive niches out there. And this guy just busted onto the scene and got 3.3 million subscribers in a matter of a few months just by posting just really basic content where he just drives in his car, talks to his camera, and then he goes to the gym and he works out and he records it. And that's it. I mean, that's all he does. But back to more of kind of like the make money online stuff, because that's what you guys are interested in. Serge Guattari, just as an example, he has 19,000 subscribers and he posts these types of videos and he teaches people how to become growth creators. And, he doesn't get that many views per video, but he's making $600,000 a month, right? Ravi Abuvala, same thing. He's got 78K subs. He posts videos where he just goes over some looms sometimes, stuff like that. Pretty basic videos. He's just going over some Google Docs or some looms a lot of the time. And he's making about $1 million a month. And he says most of it comes from YouTube. Most of his leads come from YouTube. Charlie Morgan, I think he records videos with his iPhone, some kind of potato type, recording device. I mean, if you look at these videos, just extremely potato-like here. It's just like, it's not high quality for sure. Just look at this. I mean, honestly, it looks like an old iPhone too. So either an iPhone or just a really, really bad camera. So yeah, I think you get the point here. All these people are posting these basic videos where there's almost no editing. There is just like super basic. They don't script it out. Maybe at most they might just like write out a few bullet points, something like that. And they're absolutely crushing it. How? What is going on? Life is unfair. How are they doing this? And why? Why is this happening? Well, that's what I'm going to talk about. So the reason this is happening, guys, is because of what's known as the Mr. Beastification of YouTube. So over the last 5 years or so, YouTube has progressively gotten more and more like almost like TikTok, where the channels that are doing the best on the platform are channels that have lots of editing, lots of action, lots of stimulation, just constant stimulation. Something's always happening, like every second, a new thing is happening just to keep people hooked. And that type of content has basically just been crammed down our throat because there's been a million different Mr. Beast clones. And I think you guys have seen all these channels. They're channels that basically just copy Mr. Beast. And then there's channels that kind of copy him. So it's basically just spread all throughout YouTube. There's basically like these little Mr. Beast type channels in almost every single niche on YouTube. And, that has basically permeated across all of YouTube. Even channels that aren't like Mr. Beast, they don't do the challenge style content. They've adopted a retention editing approach. And this is what's happened in the last 5 years. It's just gotten more and more to where people expect retention editing. But what also has been happening, interestingly enough, is people are starting to get tired of that type of content, not only from YouTube, but also from other social media platforms. So they've been blasted with dopamine to the point where it's absolutely absurd how much dopamine they're just constantly getting injected with by scrolling around. And because of that, they're starting to get a little bit tired of this retention editing style content. And they're also starting to realize that it's kind of fake, right? You know, it's like when you have videos like that, every word is scripted out. Like Mr. Beast knows what words he's going to say at every point. When that random thing happens in the middle of the video, like something random that totally wasn't planned happened, it's like everyone knows that it was planned, right? So it's just like they just understand that these videos are kind of fake, right? They're scripted out, they're fake. It's not that they're totally fake, but they're scripted out, they're planned. And so it's not authentic, it's not real, right? And that's what people want. This is what people want now. And even Alex Hormozy, right? He kind of took on the Mr. Beast style content because he's going mass market. And, you know, hey, there are a few advantages of making mass market content, you know, doing like the Alex Hormozy thing. But overall, there are tiny channels like Serge Guattari, Ravi Abavala, and, you know, Charlie Morgan that are making an absolute killing doing niche content. They make niche content for a very specific audience. Charlie basically helps people grow their SMMAs. So I don't think he's in the business of helping people start an SMMA because he doesn't necessarily want to work with beginners, but he helps them grow their SMMA. Serge helps people become growth creators. Usually they're also already business owners. And then Ravi also already works with people who are already business owners, right? So basically, that is the kind of thing where you're talking to what's known as a sophisticated audience. And what I was going to say earlier is if you are seeing these types of videos pop up, congratulations, you are a sophisticated audience. Tap you on the shoulder. You're a sophisticated audience. YouTube thinks that you're smart, okay? YouTube thinks that you're smart and you don't necessarily need to be entertained every second or 5 seconds with some kind of crazy edit popping up on the screen. And if you are a sophisticated audience, you don't really care about fancy editing, right? All you care about is the value that is given in the video itself. That's all you really care about. And that is why this type of content is doing so incredibly well. Now, what's interesting is this same exact thing happened in the blog world. Now, YouTube's been around since about 2005, but it didn't really get going until about 2008 or so. And, you know, originally it was actually a dating site. YouTube was literally a dating site with videos. I don't know if you knew that, but fun fact about YouTube. But blogs have been around on the internet since like, I think even the 1980s, but probably the 1990s is when they got really big. Okay. So blogs have been around forever. And originally blogs, just like YouTube, had mass market content where it appealed to a broad audience of people. So you had to make the content to where basically anybody could watch it. Think of like a Marvel movie, right? Like a superhero movie. It appeals to people who are, you know, 5 years old, and it appeals to people who are 90 years old. There's something for everyone in a Marvel superhero movie. And that type of content does really well. But as the market has matured with blogs, for instance, the blogs that started absolutely crushing it were the ones that were doing niche content. Now, this took a while. This took over 10 years before the market matured to this level. But this is the same thing that is happening with YouTube. The market is maturing to the point, just like it did with blogs, where you can make very niche content on extremely niche topics. And as long as you're solving a real problem for a real person that has real money, you are going to absolutely crush it. And that's exactly what all these guys are doing. You know, Serge helping people become growth creators. Ravi Abavala is helping people scale their businesses using systems. And basically, Charlie Morgan helps people get more clients with usually like SMMA businesses. Okay, so these are all painful problems that these guys are solving for everybody, and that is why this type of content is doing really well right now. And a side benefit of making this type of content, just to mention this really quickly, is it doesn't take forever to make, and it doesn't take a super high amount of skill. If you're doing the retention editing stuff, which, you know, it still works, don't get me wrong, but if you're doing it, each video might take like 50 to 100 hours to make. If you're going to hire an editor and they're going to be spending the entire week on one video if you're doing the retention editing. If it's really high retention editing, it might even take them 2 weeks to finish the video. So, you know, that's the downside to that as well, is it's hard to get those up. Whereas, you know, I'm recording this video right now and I'm going to be able to upload this video later tonight. So it's just super fast. Like there's basically no editing. Maybe you trim off the very beginning and the very end, and that's it, right? So that is just as a side note, one of the advantages of doing this is it's just super easy. And that happens to be really good for busy business owners. So if you're a busy business owner, or if you're a very successful person who has always been like, damn, I want to start YouTube, but it just seems like so much work. Well, hey, right now is the perfect time to start YouTube, because this is what's happening. This is the meta right now. Right now, the meta is this raw, authentic content. This is what's doing extremely well right now. And this is the type of content that you should be making if you're a business owner. It doesn't take very long to make this type of content. So this is kind of what I've been telling people for a long time. This is how you run laps around your competition in 2024, guys, right? And I think this is going to last a year or two at least, and then it'll go back to a lot of people wanting retention editing, and at that point you can switch to retention editing, or you can just stay with the raw, authentic content. But I do want to give a shout out to two people who kind of started this trend. This was back in I think it was 6 years ago. These were some of the first people to do this. And I'm sure there was others that did it. But basically, you got this absolute giga chad named Sam Ovens. I think a lot of you are probably aware of him. But he was making this type of content like 6 to 8 years ago, okay? He was making this giga chad type content where it's just very rough. He started off with the retention editing stuff where he was like, oh, I'm going to get dressed and sit on a desk and you know, highly script my content and blah, 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 blah. And then he was like, you know what? This is so fake. Screw this, right? And he started making this type of content. 8 things that I use every day to get more out of life, right? The expert lie that's holding you back. Why you don't need to be an expert to get clients, like this stuff. This absolute giga chad. And by the way, if you watch this guy's content, you'll notice a lot of similarities to Charlie Morgan's content, which is totally fine because Sam Ovens isn't selling any coaching anymore. But yeah, this guy's basically, he's the OG of this type of content. I want to give him a big shout out. You know, he absolutely crushed it with this type of content. Now, another guy that I want to give a shout out to is Alex Becker. Now, for some reason, this goofball keeps on ping-ponging, bouncing back and forth between crypto content and other stuff. But, you know, he was kind of one of the first ones as well, back about 5 years ago, who started making this type of content where super raw, super authentic. And he was basically just how games can 100x you and break reality. Entrepreneurship is a lie. I wish I stopped this sooner. How I get past fear. 3 stages of wealth everyone must go through. The biggest liar, scammer. 3 unfair tricks the super rich abuse. 5 hacks that gave me genius IQ. This kind of stuff. So he was making this super raw, authentic content, and he started doing it, and then he stopped doing it for a little bit, and then he started again. And this is honestly some of the best content I've ever seen on YouTube. So it was not edited at all, or maybe there was 1 or 2 edits throughout the video, just very, very basic editing. And this stuff was amazing. I still watch this stuff sometimes if I have a particular problem, I'll look back and watch this stuff. So got to give a shout out to these 2 absolute giga chads who kind of basically started off this entire trend. And I absolutely love this trend because people are showing you behind the scenes, right? It's real, it's authentic. They're showing you behind the scenes. It's not fake, it's not scripted. It's not bullshit copywriting, bullshit marketing. It's people are just showing you the behind the scenes, what's actually freaking working. And it kind of reminds me a lot of Twitter, because this is kind of what's happening on Twitter as well. Twitter seems to be more authentic and people showing you the real deal, the real behind the scenes of what's going on, money Twitter specifically. And that's what's happening on YouTube as well right now. And I think it's an amazing trend. There's people that are absolutely crushing it with tiny channels. I mean, some of my clients have gotten channels that have less than 1,000 subscribers, and they're already making it to over 10K per month with less than 1,000 subscribers. They're getting clients, and that's because a sophisticated audience does not care, right? They absolutely don't care. So just thought I would make this video, talk about it a bit. And yeah, wanted to show you guys this is a trend that's happening. If you don't jump on this trend as like right now, you are making a huge mistake. Do not make that mistake. And also, if you want to book a call with me where I can show you exactly how I've done this, how I've helped my clients do it, I've gotten to 300K per month on YouTube. I'm even starting a second channel. I'm going to be doing a challenge where I get my second channel to 10K per month as fast as possible. I'm going to try to do it in like definitely less than 30 days, but I'm going to try to do it as fast as possible. I'm aiming for like 10 to 15 days, something like that. And I'm going to be showing everybody exactly how I do it. So I'm going to be doing that challenge. So stay buckled in. That's going to be at the end of the month. I'm going to launch that channel like beginning of next month. And stay buckled in because it's going to be awesome. In fact, this video might actually go on that channel. Oh, that's weird. Probably shouldn't have mentioned that. All right. Anyways, check that out. Link down in the description, in the pinned comment below, or whichever platform you're watching this on. It'll be in the description. And have a good day. Take care.